scrappy friends. So I have a Saturday stash dive video for you today, and this layout is going to be using brads. Megan and I are using our brads that we have in our stash, and I have quite a bit. I don't know about you guys, but when I first started scrapping, I bought quite a bit, and then I realized just how much I was not really as big of a fan of brads as I thought I was. So right here is part of a layout that I thought I was going to use. And I edited some of this out because I'm not going to use it. But I kind of wanted to show you guys just how sometimes you can start off with something and then decide that it's not working. So at first I thought I was going to use some gelatos, and I had a mint and blueberry, and they're both metallic, and I just blended them, and then I took some crepe paper, notes and things paper that had arrows on craft or triangles on craft, and I painted them orange, and so that's what I thought I was going to be using, and I couldn't get it to work. It was just, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because I had the camera on, and a lot lately I haven't been scrapping with the camera on because I've been doing a lot of challenges with a crop or some other stuff, a class that I've been taking, the Wilmer class, and so I've had a lot of time to scrap without the camera on, and I think sometimes, as much as you think the camera doesn't impede your creativity, sometimes it does. Sometimes you know that in the back of your mind, you can't let time run out too much because you don't want your video to stop. So at this point, I'm kind of looking through the papers that I think I want to use to layer. And so this is what I'm kind of going through. And so this was the other night, and I'm working on it, and I have some just random papers from my stash. Pretty much what I did, and obviously, this series is really just about going in our stash and using what we have instead of using new stuff. And I know I don't know about you guys, but this is difficult for me because once you get that new stuff, you just want to use the new stuff, and it's so hard to go back and use the old stuff. So I don't know, maybe that's part of what it is. But I have some paper from My Mind's Eye, The Sweetest Thing. That's the blue chevron paper. I have that star paper right there that I'm thinking about using. And for a while I was going to use it because I really like the blues in it, but I just couldn't make it work with that other paper behind it, which I'm not sure what collection that is from. It's from a lot of these are summer collections. This is Gossamer Blue Stargazer. I think it's Stargazer. It's from On My Desk. Now that's a newer paper, but that's one thing that I do like to do is add like one paper or two papers of new stuff with a lot of my old stuff. And I find that sometimes that just helps break that, thought that I can't use the old stuff. And then it also helps keep my albums or my layouts a little bit more consistent, and so they don't look like I have all old stuff, with like this new, I'm not explaining it right. I'm sure I'm not. So I'm thinking about what I want to layer. And I did use that We Are Memory Keepers chalkboard line paper. And that is a newer pack for me, but I don't think it's that new. I'm not sure. I don't remember when it came out. But I really liked the stripe, the black and the white striped. I really felt like it had a nautical look. And so I like that paper with the green and the blue, and it has some palm trees on it. It's very tropical-ish. And so I really want to use it. And I want to be able to see that palm tree just a little because, we are in Hawaii, and that's why I bought it. Because it looked kind of Hawaiian, right? So I'm just trying to figure out if I want to keep it like this. And this is the point where I realize that I am not sure exactly what I realize I'm like, man, I am just having total brain freeze, which is why you don't even see me doing much of anything. Because I was not even sure I wanted to tape anything down. And I knew I wanted to use that chevron paper because I really like that it looks like water. And the color of the water is so blue because, we're off of the island. This is when we went whale watching and I got this nice picture. So I trimmed this down because I don't want that much of it. And here's where I stick it on, and I really realized this is not going to work at all. I really wanted to use the orange because my son's shorts are bright orange, and there's all this blue, and then there's this pop of orange. And I kind of like the contrast of the colors, the blue with the orange. But I'm just realizing it's not working. And I don't know what I'm doing right now. I tried to edit this too, so you didn't see a lot of open space. So yeah, I'm like, and I realized that I do like this star paper, and the gray kind of breaks up all this blue, and it matches a little bit with that black and white. So that's part of what I was thinking about when I'm building these layers is that I want to have some bright colors, but I also want something to next to it that isn't so bright, because some of my layers are, the blues and the green and everything is just really bright. So I want something to kind of tone it down. And so here I'm going to layer this onto here, and I'm not trying to be super, crazy. And of course my tape gun is like, I don't know, that roll isn't that great. So here I set this aside and I just look at this, and I'm thinking about maybe using that softboard paper, and then I'm like, maybe I'll use it on this white. So I am gonna go back, and of course I hit my camera. I need to fix that. I can see the thing a little bit more than I could. So I go back and I use a stencil, and this kind of has like waves on it, or like circles that kind of look like waves to me. So I'm using a mix of Distress Ink in Salty Ocean and a spray that I made with the Marion Smith Color Lab. And it's a glimmer spray, but it's like a aqua color. So a turquoisey color. And I find that those two colors mixed together work really nicely. And some of where I sprayed is a little bit dark. So I really liked the fact that the blue is more subtle than the turquoise, and it kind of helps soften it. That's the only thing I find that using the sprays when I use it with the distressor with my stencil is that sometimes it can get a little heavy in spots. But I figure I'm not going to worry about it because I'll cover this up. And I really am liking the white background. I'm like, it's not too much. And maybe that was part of my problem, is that I haven't been using pattern paper as my background in a while. I've been using white, and so I've kind of gotten used to what it looks like on white, and I like that the white kind of helps keep everything toned down. And I mean, you can still use a lot of patterns with a white, and I think sometimes that it almost is better that way. So I cut this down a little bit because I'm going to have it on the end. And so this is where I leave it for the one night, and then I come back. And that right there, and you'll see me playing around with it, is a card that I had made a while ago. I was playing with paints, and I had the paint left over, so I just did a whole bunch of like 3x4 and 4x6 cards with just random patterns like stripes, and some I did circle like dots and stuff. So it has colors that I'm using. And so I'm just going to keep it so that I'm going to use that because I like the colors. So here I have a paper from the Pier, and that's crepe paper. And that's maybe it's from last year. I don't know. I bought it last year. But I really, really like that wood grain. And I don't have much of that collection left. I used a lot of it last year um, for a lot of my SeaWorld stuff because we had tons of pictures from SeaWorld. So I'm just edging everything with that same pad that I had with the blue and the like aqua color. I just really like how that looks. So I'm going to cut this in half so you can see bits and pieces of it, but I really like the white with the other colors. That's another color that is going to help break up just all the blue, you know, all the pattern. So, because there is a lot of pattern going on, but I find that if you mix it with, you know, solids or patterns that are almost read as a solid, that you can use a lot more patterns. So here I'm getting these brads back out because this is what I'm going to be using for my challenge. So I really want to try to use up a few brads. And how many did I use? I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only used 5, but I feel like that's a pretty good amount because normally on a layout, I might just use 1. So unless I have like the little tiny ones, which I do, and I should have took those out. I have blue ones. So I'm thinking maybe I can use those, and I didn't like it. But I do have that orange tag, and that's the only thing that I have that's that orange color. So it kind of mimics my son's shorts just a little. I did kind of want to bring that in because that is a color that is in the picture. And so here I just have some tidbits from, I think those are from the pier. They're just like cut aparts and stuff. So I'm just going to add a couple of those. And I'm inking them just so that everything looks like it goes together because I'm not going to outline. I just think that that blue and green paper wouldn't have looked that good outlined, so I just didn't outline. And so I'm going to take that down and just commit to it, and I'm going to add a brad. And I was going to use that green one from Amy Tan, and then I realized that it covered up too much of the word swim. And I don't mind if things cover words up a little bit, but it covered up a lot of that word and you couldn't see it. And I really wanted to be able to see that it read swim. So since we're out in the ocean and my son's looking for whales, he was so cute. I really like that hat, which is mostly what I journal about because I have a few pictures from this day anyway. So, and I found that when I'm scrapping 12 by 12 layouts of just one day, and because I like to use this one photo, I find that it sometimes is less overwhelming than when I have like 5 or 6. And I know that's totally on preference. I know a lot of people like to use all their pictures from one event just on one page, and it does cut down on pages and journaling, and so you're not journaling the same thing. But what I find is that I just like to add something a little bit different to the journaling. You know, not go crazy and say the same thing in every single journaling, you know, that when I'm journaling the same event, and just kind of add different pieces or like almost like a different snap view of what that day was. I mean, obviously, when you look through my albums, you're going to realize that, oh yeah, they're wearing the same clothes and this is from the same day. And so they might not necessarily all be next to each other because I just throw everything in my albums when I have them, which I'm really bad about that. I don't know how you guys are, but so I found that viewfinder from Good Day Sunshine, and I have a ton of, and some of those brads are from the Good Day Sunshine from Simple Stories, and I love that collection. It is just so much fun and so summery. But a lot of the pieces that I have left are just the bits. And so I find that when you get down to the end of it, it's sometimes hard to use it because there's just a little bit in there. And I was thinking about using those, but I just didn't think the color worked that well. And I couldn't find words that really matched. So I'm looking through the sticker sheet again. I mean, and as you can see, I don't have a ton of this stuff left. But there was some hearts that were blue, the different colored blues and greens. So I cut off the colors that I wasn't going to use, and I just threw the other half away. I could have saved it, but I figure I'm at the end of the pack. I probably won't use it. That says chill out, and I'm just going to add it just since I have a few other spots that has some words. And so I'm just kind of looking for a few last pieces. I mean, I really, at this point, don't want to go, I know I don't want to go crazy on what I have just because I have a lot of patterns that is also, that's really busy. So with my embellishments, I just kind of want to keep it simple. So I'm going to work on the title backwards. My brain is going, I must need more coffee. And so I'm going to spell out the word world traveler. And so I start off with the everyday eclectic line of those alphas. And I really like the black and white, and I feel like it just kind of it plays off that Brad that is from that Amy Tan pack with the chevron. And also it just kind of reads like really classic. But I didn't have one E missing. So I used the October Afternoon letter stickers in the storybook, just the tile ones. And so I mixed two just so that it didn't look like I was just missing one. And so at first I was going to use the Simple Stories from the Good Day Sunshine because there's a blue, and I didn't like how small it was. So I go back and I take the blues from the Everyday Eclectic line, and I just add two of the October Afternoon just to kind of make it look like, once again, you know, I did this on purpose. Not, oh. So here I decided that I wanted to add this one last Brad because I really like that blue flag and it's just kind of fun. And I didn't know when else I was going to use it. So at this point, you know, I'm wanting to use as many Brads as possible anyway. So I'm looking through these Embellishing puffy stickers and seeing if there's anything, and I'm going to use some enamel dots just to kind of, since I have a whole lot of Brads and circle elements, you know, I thought that it would be nice to just add a couple more. And I picked that one that says sweet, and it has a wood grain, so it kind of goes along with the different wood grains that are already on the layout. And I have a hard time because with some of those, and I picked a gray heart and an arrow that says love you, and it just kind of ties in some of those brighter colors. Even though it's not an orange color, it is bright, so it kind of reads almost as it is. And then I just pick a few blue ones, and then I go to a smaller pack because I really want some smaller ones. I wish that some of these companies, and I know Lawn Fawn, they make quite a bit, or is it Freckle Fawn? I can't remember. I always get them mixed up, and I don't know why. They have some of the smaller ones, but they need to make a pack with just all small ones because I use those ones the most. And so I decide at this point that I'm going to mat it on this orange paper. That'll help tie in just a little bit orange. And of course, I have a hard time cutting where this Brad is because it is in the way. And I could have took it off. And I'm thinking about it now. I didn't think about it then, but oh well. And so I have to kind of hand cut it. And I'm okay with that because in the end, you're probably not going to tell that I cut it just a little wonky. And that paper right there is from Yellow Little Bicycle, and that's the Boardwalk collection. I know that's old. Is that company even out anymore? I don't even know if that company's out. So I'm pretty much done. I'm just inking the sides that I cut just so that it kind of all goes together. And I'm going to ink a little bit of that yellow or that orange paper. And I use a lot of glue because I have the Brads on the back. And this way, by doing it this way, I don't have to worry about putting washi tape over the Brads. And I did use a glue dot on that green twine around that tag. And so I think that's, I'm going to add some splatters in that turquoise color, in a blue color, and then in like a gray color that I had a little bit left. And then that's going to be it. So that will finish it. So I hope you guys enjoyed my layout. I hope that you can go and find some Brads in your stash and use them all up. And also, don't forget to go check out Megan's video and see what she did with brads this week. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later. Bye.